KQ was profitable every single year. That you can look at its financials. KQ went into various projects. We know the famous Mawingu project, where KQ was to have over 100 aircrafts by 2020. I remember when the CEO proposed it, not a single manager made a comment about it, and this was a multi-billion investment. We had so many new kids on the block. People were scared. Many people did not want to talk about what's happening in KQ. KQ let us sell off its slots in London. I remember that day I was called by a friend of mine who works with slots in Heathrow and asked us, are we crazy selling off our slots on the cheap? But it happened. KQ has changed a lot. KQ has a lot of potential. I remember KQ was bigger than Emirates in the 90s. I don't know if you'd believe that. So that tells you its potential. Dubai is much smaller than Kenya when I started my life in aviation. KQ has been sliding downhill, but KQ can be rescued. It needs to go back to the basic of the business. What's the basic? It needs to have the right people in the right places. That's number one. An organization is about people. Secondly, it must do business within its costs. KQ today does not do business within its costs. Its major competitors, like it pays its pilots almost twice what Ethiopian Airlines, its competitors are paying them. If you're running a kiosk and you're paying your staff twice, do you expect to make profit? Fuel hedging, deals go wrong. There are very many issues. It has had, most of Kenya KQ operations are run by Forex. It's in Forex exchange. So it earns in Forex, it spends in Forex. But how you manage the KQ's treasury, managing this Forex is questionable for a long time. The hedging, questionable. KQ has been outsourcing its maintenance. A disaster. An aircraft, an airline 40 aircrafts plus, I think right now it's been going down, cannot outsource maintenance. It's like giving somebody your checkbook. Even the aircraft checks it did itself, today outsources. Pricing. You go into the internet. People buy fares not through travel agents, but through the internet. That's a new trend of the Generation X. But if you Google and find out flight from Nairobi to Lagos, KQ is overpriced. So these are little basic things. Unless KQ deals with the basics, it's difficult to move forward. An airline is about people. An airline is not about the smiling cabin crew. The product of an airline is its schedule. I don't know if you understand me. All the product of an airline is its schedule, the way it plans its routes. That's where Nairobi, London, the frequency in particular routes, the way it connects, the way it hubs in, the aircraft you deploy. KQ today, we have wide bodies coming into Nairobi, and we have narrow body going to Lagos. How do you expect the passenger baggage to connect? Of course, lots of baggage coming in, there'll always be a jam. So it's not surprised that, there's no surprises here that passenger baggage is always left behind. And if you leave baggage behind, what do you get? Theft at the airport? Dissatisfied customers who get to a destination with no clothes? What do you expect? So KQ has many issues. But I can tell you for a fact, the issues we had in 1990, which we solved, can be solved today. I tell you that for a fact. There's nothing new here. If you lease aircrafts at way above the market rates. You want to pay your staff higher, and you have too many staff. The productivity levels in KQ are very low. So there are indicators within airline. An airline is like the human body. Your heartbeat rate. If your heart is beating too fast, probably you have a problem. If your blood pressure is high, simply if your sugar level. So in an airline, there are various things that you look at. And you can tell this airline is in a problem. There's productivity levels, the utilization of equipment. Aircraft are not supposed to be sitting on the ground. They're supposed to be flying. An aircraft sitting on the ground is losing money, terrible money. So if you look at utilization, airlines that make money have high utilization, have productivity. These are the basic things KQ needs to look at. And anyone who has been an old staff will tell you there are some buttons you touch today within KQ. You can turn it around. There's nothing new here. So I know KQ has made 36 billion loss. The government has been very supportive of KQ. Let me say that. In our time in KQ, those subsidies were not coming in. KQ today is losing 100 million shillings a day. And that probably excludes the subsidies. But no one is addressing the cost issues. KQ is run by a board who are not aviators. How does that happen? You walk into KLM, American Airlines, British Airways. The people in that board, at least you have to have half of that board, people who understand the business, who have grown in it. Yet these people are making multi-billion decisions. Running an airline is not pocket change. One aircraft, as I just mentioned, costs $100 million. So it needs, in my opinion, KQ is at the point of its life where perhaps closure and restarting it from a blank slate. We have people with too many expectations on KQ. KQ carries too much baggage on its wings that it cannot fly. People have to get their senses. Pilots, their agreements with the labor, the CALPA, they have to make it favorable to make KQ fly. You can ask for, like crew time limits. You want more money. You want flexible crew time limits. You want. There's too much being asked from KQ. With so many parties. So KQ is caught in a tight corner. So people need to sit down who understand their business and get it back. We need to do this for the sake of our children. When you look at, and KQ is bigger than what people think. I remember when I left KQ, we're running a budget of around almost 100 billion shillings. My budget alone in cargo was, at that time, was 8 billion, which I had in my control. To deliver, that's the revenue I had to deliver, and we delivered it. So KQ can be solved. I think the issues in KQ can be addressed with a sober mind, with people cutting back, with patriotism. We can solve KQ problem. You see, KQ is 70% of KAA revenues come from KQ. If KQ is down, KA is down. Kenya Civil Aviation earns money in landing fees, parking, navigation fees, all basically from KQ. So if KQ is down, KA doesn't make money. Kenya Civil Aviation doesn't make money. KQ is not bringing people into Kenya. If you look carefully, the other day, something that came to my attention. I looked at the number of tourists coming into this country. There was an article I saw. I noticed that Kenya has 1.58 million tourists coming in. Rwanda had 1 million. That struck me. And Rwanda had almost nothing just a few years ago. This small country, the size of Kitui County, with an airline which I also helped set up. I helped set up the Rwanda Cargo Department. Already has 1 million people. More and more people are coming. Kenya with all our attractions, we are doing jack in terms of tourists. And we are complaining of a terrible economy. God gave us beautiful land. We are in an excellent location. Look what Dubai does with Emirates. Dubai is all around Emirates. It brings millions of people into Emirates. If you cannot talk about UAE, Dubai, without talking about Emirates. Now, that was the dream that some of us had in the 90s. And we were achieving it, but something somewhere went wrong. Personalization, poor leadership. This is why KQ is where it is. That's a hard truth. Can we deal and talk about the problems openly? Expatriates will not solve this problem. KQ thought by bringing in expatriates to Douala to solve the problem, throw money into the problem, will solve it. No, this problem can be solved by Kenyans. It is Kenyans who brought KQ back. I always say this every day. And it's Kenyans there are Kenyans here in this country who are capable of solving KQ's problems. When KQ was doing things right, where are these people? They were frustrated, brought down, another group set brought in, which brought KQ down. That's the hard truth. That is the hard truth. Can we sit back and think? Sit down as a country. We can't lose 100 million shillings every day and keep quiet. 100 million can dig you over 20 boreholes. Let's say a borehole is 5 million shillings. Call it even 3 million. Actually 3 million. You can dig over 33 boreholes every day in a part of the country and solve our water problem. That's the kind of money we're losing, if you want to put it into perspective. Now, it's time we sit down as a country and think what should be done by KQ, about KQ. Because if we solve KQ, in many ways, we solve a lot of our problems in our tourism industry and the economy also. Because Rwanda has opened up to aviation. It's building a huge airport, and it's using precisely the same strategies that KQ's, the people who ran KQ thought about. It's booming, and you can see it by the numbers coming into Rwanda. The only attraction they have there are the gorillas in, next to Goma. I've been there, near Lake Kivu, somewhere there. I've been there. So there are many, many, many burning issues. Very many burning issues. And these issues are all solvable. Yeah.
So it's never too late. KQ can rise again.
KQ can rise again. That I am 100% sure about. Take that to the bank.